Well, it's time now to review headlines on today's newspapers with the Ombudsman of This Day and Arise Media Group and This Day Newspaper Limited Group Executive Director Kayode Komolafe. Good morning, Mr. KK, and morning, welcome to our Sunday Tonic newspaper review program.
Good morning, OG.
Yeah, how are you
good
this
morning?
morning?
And good morning, Kashi.
All right, let's go straight into it. As always, we'll start with This Day on Sunday. And the lead story here says, at inauguration of Lagos-Calabar Highway, Tinubu canvasses protection of national infrastructure. And the riders ask Nigerians to be patient with him. Warns developers, landowners against illegal construction. Akpabio to governors, don't hand over power to incapable successors. And then yet another rider, Humai seeks 2% of sales from Dangote Bua Cement. That's the lead, on the cover of This Day Today. And of course, there are two bold photographs. First is that of the president with Umai and a few others at the commissioning of the Lagos-Calabar Highway, showing the president, and the other one is celebrating yet another couple. A few other stories, I think just two or three more, on the cover of This Day. The window story is on Rotimi Amechi that we have just discussed, a few moments ago. Amechi, I told Tinubu point blank, I won't work with him before 2023 elections. Rotimi Amechi, by the way, clocked 60 yesterday and gathered a number of people in the opposition.
I think he celebrated his birthday yesterday. But
yes.
But his birthday wasn't...
Oh, yeah, that's correct.
No, he celebrated the birthday yesterday, but the birthday actually was May 27th.
Was May 27th. Yeah. Okay, so the lecture and the book presentation, were yesterday. And then there's a rider to the Amechi story. Tinubu has weaponized poverty, says Atiku. And then Rufai, Nigerians allowed urban bandits, which OG made reference to take over leadership. That's on page 5 of today's This Day. And then one more story, opposition coalition in dilemma over choice of new party. Fails to meet. I think Kachi was making reference to that also. Will it be a new party? Will it be a coalition? Will you move into a totally different party? But here we are. It looks like it's dire straits for the opposition party, for the coalition, in dilemma over choice of new party as they fail to meet. That story is also on page 5 of today's This Day. 3 important stories, KK, your analysis. So there's no running away from any of them.
Thank you, Steve. Yes, I thank you for putting me on the spot here. Okay, let me attempt to at a review. Now, on the front page of This Day Today, there are 2 stories which I propose that we'll review together. Both the lead story, yes, which is about the commissioning, of 30 kilometers out of 760 kilometers Lagos-Calabar highway. And also the story from the celebration of 60th birthday of former Governor Rotimi Amechi. Now, I will invite the reader to read the 2 stories together, and in addition, the back page of This Day Today, a column there by Waziri Adio is columnist of This Day, as well as a technocrat, on his own right, Like when we talk of policy dissections, he does that brilliantly in the column. Now, maybe I should start, as a way of reviewing both stories, what Waziri Adio said, that 2 facts are correct, in the contemporary Nigeria, especially this season, when we are doing the assessment, the midterm assessment of the government. By the way, it's not only the midterm assessment of President Tinubu. A number of state governors, majority of state governors are also having midterm, Because when we discuss this issue, we think that governance in Nigeria is only in Abuja. the responsibility for governance is in 36 state capitals, that we have, and sub-national governments also have responsibility, to also deliver. But that is just decided. So Waziri is saying that two facts, he said that two, facts, could be correct at the same time, and in this instance, that maxim is true, and that is that one, you have those people say, this government, has achieved something that, that is something to celebrate. And there are those people who say, no, it is all gloom, that nothing good, has happened. That the government has not done enough. Waziri's position is that, yes, both could be correct. Yes, that one, those who say there's been some achievement, they are correct. And those say there's still those who also insist that you still have mounting challenges before the nation, they are also correct. That. So if you take this into consideration, that perhaps you'll be having a more judicious assessment, of the president. And that is two stories, both the story from Amishi's birthday and the commissioning of the Lagos-Calabar highway. That again, they bring into focus, this intersection between policy, and politics, and how they should go, And by the way, happy birthday to Rotimi Amishi, who actually turned 60 on May 27, but the celebration was yesterday. Now, taking the birthday celebration of Amishi first. Now again, that occasion, like I said, is the celebration of Rotimi Amishi's birthday. The theme, of the lecture which was organized, was weaponization of poverty and using Nigeria as a state as a case study. And the chairman of the occasion was Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka. Some of the things I could have said in the discussion you had before, the perspectives that you have all put, you have. There's no point repeating them, especially, for instance, what Soyinka said about Amishi, that it was during his tenure that, that Port Harcourt, was, a book capital, But now, the point was that the story there, the context was that there was a lecture, which you don't find in the headline. And that lecture was delivered by a quintessential public intellectual.
Absolutely.
And a member of this editorial board, Dr. Chidi Amuta. Very brilliant lecture. The topic it shows, that was distilling from the theme, of the birthday celebration was democracy and the Republic of Poverty, democracy and Republic of Poverty. That was what Dr. Chidi Amuta, spoke on. And Dr. Chidi Amuta, made this point that you could not be talking of democracy, for instance, while you have, children, out of school, where you have people who still go home, go to bed, hungry, where ignorance and disease, still reign supreme, people don't have access to social housing. People don't. You cannot have, food security, and of course, that even the process of the election, which is, the basis of the ferment on the political landscape, that you don't have the integrity of the process being ensured. In short, it drew a dialectical relationship between poverty and democracy. That in our context, that you cannot be democratic unless we solve the poverty question. That is, and it was actually a very provocative lecture that we put on. And in doing so, and just like Oji, and I think also Kashi, made the point in earlier, it was that it did not spare any member of the political elite, whether in power or out of power. That was the concept. It was very unsparing, in the critique, of the political elite. That when you have power, that you put them on scale. That in terms of the delivery of public goods, in terms of ensuring, the welfare of the people, in terms of waging, the desired war against poverty, that how much to go. So that was the lecture that, Dr. Chidi Amuta gave. And that for me, it was actually the story, of this, and not the tirades, of the coalition. Because the point is that, again, to me, it's a subtle reminder that what we should be discussing now is the crisis of underdevelopment, the poverty. That should be the issue. The reason why we have government, the reason why we are organized, is not just to be having elections, is that, those who are in power, should deliver, public goods, and that more time and energy should be spent, in actually, thinking about this, discussing this, and then providing a solution from different, perspectives, and of course, why I say that is also related was that whereas the story from Amishi's birthday, fits into the first construct of Waziri Adio, that is that those who say nothing, good at all, is happening. That is what we have. Like I said, that is not the approach of Dr. Chidi Amuta, who was the guest lecturer, and of course, also that lecture was also discussed, by the way, by an eminent panel of panelists, including Onayekon, Cardinal Professor Yusuf, who is a regular feature, on our right, and Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Funke Aboyade, and they also gave different, perspectives. That's why I'm saying that it was actually discussed and very, robust. The debate.
That's the kind of a lecture that readers will be looking forward to see on the back page of this day.
Yes,
in the coming days.
Yes. That is. So then the other aspect, like I said, was that what happened at the commissioning yesterday was actually to say that that it's not all gloom. That a year ago the president was there to do the groundbreaking. And a year after. You cannot say that project has going to the pantheon of abandoned projects. In Nigeria, you do groundbreaking, and after groundbreaking, you don't hear about the project anymore. Seriously, and that even the Calabar, that the construction has also begun from the Calabar end of which means that as ambitious as the project may look, that is the will to actually, actualize it.
So all you can do is to saying looks great, by the way.
Great, so all you can do is that, despite what the critics, might say, is that like the administration of President Tinubu is focused, and determined, to pull it through. So just like you have the Sokoto, Badagry Expressway, because those are the stuff, that you make of legacy. Those are, legacy. Project. So all we can say is that best wishes, to the administration as it pursues these projects that will serve the public good.
All right. So we're good with that. We're not talking about the opposition coalition in Delima over choice of the new party. No comment on that, Mr. KK.
Go to Tuesday style.
Because we always talked about the fact that we should discuss more issues than the whole 2027 that is now in full swing at this moment. But yes, we will wait to see what this opposition or coalition is going to be about sooner or later, right?
Shall we head over policy and governance?
Thank you very much. Thank you for.
I wanted to highlight.
Thank you for putting me correctly.
Well, all right. Shall we head over to this day's style now? The cover picture there is Aisha Babangida. Great past, promising future, and that's the tagline for the cover story there. The cover note, Aisha Babangida is more than a national icon, says the editor. She's a passionate advocate for Nigeria's cultural heritage, women's empowerment, and sustainable development. As the convener-in-chief of the Ibrahim and Mariam Babangida Presidential Library and Foundation, her work spans across education, community upliftment, and continental development through her organization APA, which means Accountable Partners for Africa. Her journey is one of dedication, resilience, and unwavering hope for a better Nigeria. Okay, Aisha Babangida is the daughter of former military president Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. And of course, it appears that she is the convener-in-chief of that library that, made headlines beginning of this year. Congratulations to her with her project. I'm hoping that one day we will see more from this family as well in terms of, what more inclusion they can do in the coming future. Like the cover note says, great past, promising future. Mr. KK.
Congratulations to Aisha. She's certainly a ship of the old block, and that, when you view what she's doing against the background of the great things that our late mother, did as, Miriam Babangida, did as a first lady, like some people will still insist that she actually redefined, the office of the first lady.
Yes, absolutely.
And after Miriam, things have never been the same again. So congratulations, and best wishes, especially that in respect of that library, that it should be brought, to fruition, because a lot of expectations, and also don't forget also a lot of criticisms, So I think it will be good if the critics, are proved wrong, those who maybe have expressed doubt, as to the actualization of the dream.
Absolutely. What was that her foundation? So Better Life for Rural Women. Better Life for Rural Women. She was a champion for that.
Yes.
May her soul continue to rest in peace. One woman that I admire, really, absolutely.
And she was your sister.
She was my sister, absolutely, from Delta State.
Yeah.
All right. Let's look very quickly at Sunday Telegraph and the Punch. Telegraph, highlights the tragic incident of yesterday. It says, tragic weekend. 21 Kano athletes returning from NSF die in road crash. That's the National Sports Festival that held in Ogun State. Just ended yesterday. And the riders, as Mokwa flood death toll rises to 151. We discussed that earlier. In fact, we had a brilliant guest, Martins, who discussed the issues with us. Many missing, 3,018 persons displaced. Tinubu mourns, orders emergency response. I think that the tragic case of the Telegraph is reporting 21. Many other papers reported 22. Actually, which
most
is
newspapers.
Most newspapers, exactly. Those are coaches, athletes, and staff of the Kano State Sports, Commission returning from Ogun State, and absolutely so, horrifically so. The whole bus, crashing off the bridge and going down. I think about 30 of them in the bus, but only about 8. Survived. It's such a sad situation after making their state and the nation proud, returning home. We don't know yet what type of a bus it was, and the sort of arrangement, for people who contribute to making us happy and to making us popular. Such a sad thing. The lead story itself, coalition proponents want to hijack PDP, says ex-governor. Alleges group eyeing Northerner against Tinubu. And then Atiku says we're working against poverty. Rufai, Nigeria must get back on track. And then Amici, I was detained for 30 minutes in Germany over Nigerian passport. For those who love football, the window story of today's Telegraph, and we're still expecting our own Aaron Akrejola to come and break it down for us. It was a massacre last night as PSG demolished Inter Milan, win first Champions League title. It was 5-0. KK, I don't know if you watch it, if you're into football, but that was some soccer out there for PSG. The same PSG, I believe, that defeated that club in London that many Nigerians love to shout about in the semi-finals. Yet another story why Nigeria should adopt 7-year single term for president. That's Senator Agadaga speaking on pages 14 and 19 of today's Sunday Telegraph. And then very quickly, The Punch. I'm sure, KK, you'll find the lead of today's Sunday Punch interesting. Ukraine war, it says, Russia's drone scheme for Nigerians sparks uproar. We're not aware, says Foreign Ministry. Ukraine warns of deadly consequences. Russia's drone scheme for Nigerians sparks uproar. A few other stories there. Inside story of WASC leak that triggered midnight exam. And that's with the picture of the Minister of Education, the Lagos boy, Tunji Alausa, there. And then be patient with me. Tinubu begs Nigerians. FRSC blames speeding for death of 21 Kano athletes. FRSC has, speeding, speeding. That's what the Federal Road Safety Commission is saying. Punch is also reported 21, others reported 22. And then nude trade, NAPTIP launches manhunt for syndicate after Punch investigation. Have they succeeded in inviting that fellow who speaks poorly about young girls? NAPTIP and the other fellow.
Yes. No, well, not arrest. They've invited him, and he's supposed
Has he honored the invitation
he's
yet?
supposed to be there, I believe, tomorrow. Hopefully,
Okay.
They're asking him to report June 2nd, I believe. That's Speed Darlington, the musician, correct?
Yes. Yes, who can't differentiate between reality, and social media trends.
He's relentless with his,
That's such a shame,
with
really.
his quack content, because that's what I call it, because he says it's content. I don't understand how you can't.
It's a big shame.
Yeah,
It's a big shame. What social media can turn people, otherwise talented people,
Yes,
what social media can turn them into.
Yes.
Those are the stories, KK, so that we have about 5 minutes so that we can also have Aaron Akejola before we go.
Okay, quickly, let's take first the tragedies, at the weekend, first the Kano one, our condolences, go to the families of those who lost their lives and while wishing the 27 people who are hospitalized, a quick recovery. But just like you hinted, Steve, I think in a situation like this, we should draw lessons. Because accidents happen. But at the same time, what makes us to be rational human beings is that if we can try to see, what the risk is and what we can do to, avoid, the risk, coming to play, and that is where the statement from the FRSC, coming that, again, this is a reminder, to drivers that overspeeding, is not just a violation of traffic rule, but also a danger, to, the road users, and in this case, the cost, enormous, 20, like we said,
we don't know whether they were sleeping or something.
Exactly, 22 people, and you see have 27,
also show how ideal, bus traveling for at least from Ogun State all the way down to Kano.
What was the condition of the bus? I've seen the picture of the
that's
bus.
another issue.
All these are related to traffic rule. Putting the vehicle in good condition is an element.
Yes.
Even the mental alertness of the driver.
Exactly.
The number of hours he has to drive all the way up to north.
And the condition that it was. So condolences to them and that to the families and also the government and people of Kano State. Moment like this.
All right.
Now to the Mokwa flood again. Again, it's also about lessons from Now, in all these discussions, even I listened to the very brilliant presentation of your guest, earlier, But in all this, we should stress the point that ecological issue is the responsibility of all, starting from the individual to the community, to local government, to state government, to the federal government. Actually, I'm not sure there's any state that does not have a Ministry of Environment. You know, and we will have a commissioner for environment. You know, so when the meteorological station, you know, agency, you know, gives this warning, you know, the implementation, you know, taking that warning, you know, and working, you know, with it to prevent, you know, a calamity is the responsibility, you know, of governments at all levels. Lastly, is the fact that, you know, occasion like this should also bring to fore question about what happens to the ecological fund.
Yeah.
The ecological,
Yeah, we made mention of that.
Yes, to the ecological fund.
Yeah.
This ecological fund, you know, goes to every state. You know, so I think so I mean, we should ask questions. You know, that what do state governments do with the ecological fund? It should not be slush, you know, funds. You know,
Absolutely.
you know, should be, you know, a fund that should be spent, you know, to prevent you know, things like this from happening. And when, you know,
Absolutely.
so we should not wait for disaster management. We should also, you know, work towards prevention of
Well
disaster.
said,
Yeah.
Mr. Komolafe. Thank you very much indeed. And you know, all of your points are well taken, especially with the ecological fund. And also, we should touch more on perfect urban planning to prevent such floods. Thank you very much. We hope to see you next week.